Hello friends, how are you? I hope you all are doing superbly great. So let's continue with our discussion on process costing, and what we have been discussing about is WIP. So in this lecture we are going to start with the treatment of abnormal loss in WIP. Treatment of abnormal loss in WIP, right? In last lecture we have already discussed about the treatment of normal loss, right? That how the normal loss is to be treated in the statement of equivalent production, we have already discussed about it, and I hope you all are very much clear with it and you have done the homework that I have given you in the last lecture. So now we are going to discuss about the treatment of abnormal loss. What is abnormal loss, sir? The loss which was not expected, right? An uncertain event happened which was not expected at all, so that is the abnormal loss, the loss arising out of that. That is my abnormal loss. Now the thing is that how this abnormal loss is to be treated in the process costing while preparing the statement of equivalent production, right? So this is what we have to discuss in this lecture, and see, I'll try to explain you with the help of examples only. We'll take up the practical examples, right? You can open your books also at page 12.5, but not to read right now, right? I'll tell you later on. First, write down the example, and with the practical examples only, I'll tell you the concepts, right? I'll tell you the important points to note along with the example. Let's say your input is 10,000 units. Out of this, your finished good of that process is 7,000 units. Your closing WIP is 1,000 units. Normal loss is 1,000 units, right? And it is given to you that scrap realizes rupee 1 per unit. Now what you have to do is you have to prepare the statement of equivalent production, statement of cost per equivalent unit, and the valuation of FG and WIP, right? This is what you have to do, sir. It's very simple, sir. We have already done in the last lecture. It seems to be simple. Let's start with it. It is simple, actually simple, nothing to worry about it, right? Now, in this example, I have nowhere mentioned about the abnormal loss, have I? No, right? But there is still abnormal loss in this question. I have not mentioned anything in the question, but still it is there in the question. How it is there in the question? Let's see with the help of this thing. Let's try to solve it first. Then you will get to know that how it is there, right? Sir, what is the input? Input is 10,000 units. Now, out of this 10,000 units, how many units of FG? 7,000. What is your normal loss? 1,000. What is your closing WIP? 1,000. Right? This is 10,000. And I told you that this input and output column should be 10,000, right? Now this should be 10,000. Is it 10,000? 7 plus 1, 8. 8 plus 1, 9. It is 9,000. Sir, where is the remaining 1,000? Where is the remaining 1,000, sir? The remaining 1,000, the hidden 1,000 is your abnormal loss. Right? That is why I told you that I haven't mentioned anything in the question about abnormal loss, but still there is abnormal loss in this question. This is where the abnormal loss is, and this is how you will be getting the questions in the exam also. It is not that you will be getting the direct information that this much is the abnormal loss. No. Right? So here is my abnormal loss of 1,000 units. Now it is 10,000. Clear? Now, On the finished goods, 100% material cost has been incurred, that is on 7,000 units, 100% labor cost incurred on 700 units, 100% overhead cost incurred, that is on 7,000 units, right? What about the normal loss, sir? 100% for everything, normal loss, 100% of everything, nothing to be taken for normal loss. Right, sir. For closing WIP, nothing is given in the question. So 100% for material and 50%, sir, what are you writing? 100% means 1000 units and 50% 500 units and 50% 500 units. Correct? Any doubts? Right? If the degree of completion for closing WIP is given in the question, you have to take what is given in the question, right? If it is not given in the question, then take it as 150-50. Simple. Clear? Like in the homework question that I have given you, in that question, the degree of completion for closing WIP was given as 80-50-50. Right? Okay. Now here comes the actual test. Sir, what about the abnormal loss? What about the abnormal loss? How it is to be taken? Degree of completion, what will be the degree of completion for abnormal loss? Are we going to treat it like the normal loss, or we are going to have some degree of completion? So let's try to understand regarding this now. Degree of completion of abnormal loss units. Degree of completion of abnormal loss. How to treat this? Now this is very, very important to understand. Just listen to it very carefully. I'll divide it into two parts. If given in question, right? If given in question and if not given in question. Now, in case of abnormal loss, the degree of completion will either be given in the question or it will not be given in the question. Then what should be the treatment in both the cases? You have to understand. First is, if the degree of completion is given in the question, then what should be? So take the degree of completion, take DOC as given in question. No issues. If it is given as given in question. Sir, if it is given in the question, we cannot counter it. We have to take it as given in the question. There is no issues. Now, see in this example, I have not given any degree of completion for the abnormal loss, right? Now, what should be the case here? If it is not given, there are two scenarios or I can say two alternatives of taking the degree of completion, right? If the degree of completion for abnormal loss units is not given in the question, then either take it as 100% for all material, labor and overheads, for all, that is material, labor and overheads, right? So you have to take it 100% for everything, right? For material also, for labor also, and for overheads also. This is the preferred way I will say. Sir, what is the second alternative? The second alternative, which the institute has been following in some of the questions, right? I'll not say all of the questions. What they have been taking is, take the degree of completion equivalent to closing WIP. Closing WIP degree of completion. So if the closing WIP degree of completion is given in the question, they say take the same degree of completion for abnormal loss, right? So this is what the viewpoint is, that if it is given in the question, then take the degree of completion as given in the question, no problem. If it is not given in the question, the preferred way is take it as 100%. Sir, why? Because the abnormal loss has happened. That means all the material, labor, overhead, every cost has been incurred on it. We are assuming that the material was ready, but something happened. All the cost has been incurred, but something happened that there was a loss. Now, basically, the approach thing. Now, one approach is that the material was ready, right? It was lying in the godown. There was a flood. there was huge heavy rains, there was a flood, and the ready material was damaged. Now if it is a ready material, that means the material labor overhead cost has been incurred, right? The second point is that the material was still in the process of manufacturing. That means it was a WIP. It was neither a raw material, it was nor a finished good. It was in the process of WIP, and during that WIP process, something abnormal happened. There was a short circuit, there was a fire, right? And during that process, the material got damaged. There was an abnormal loss, right? So during that abnormal loss, they say take the degree of completion as equivalent to closing WIP. Now, if the question is absolutely silent, you can take it either as 100% or take it equivalent to closing WIP. But what you have to do is you have to give a note at the bottom of your solution that this is what you have assumed, right? In many of the questions, you will find that degree of completion is given. In some of the questions, you will find that the degree of completion for abnormal loss. See, degree of completion will be given for what? For FG, it is 100%. For closing WIP, it will be given to you. For abnormal loss, you have to specifically see whether it is given or it is not given, or what is said in the question, right? It is to be treated accordingly. I have given you the scenarios that if given in the question, what is the treatment? If not given in the question, that what is how it should be treated. Either take it as 100% or take it as equivalent to the closing WIP. Both the ways are correct, right? Now, in this case, what I'm going to do is, if the in the question I have not given any degree of completion, so I will take it as 100%, right? I will take it as 100%, 1000 units. 100% for labor, 1000 units, 100% for overheads, 1000 units. Clear? So can you tell me the equivalent units here? For material, 9000, 8500 for labor, and 8500 for overheads. Any doubts up till this point? I hope this is clear. Now, let's come to statement of cost per equivalent unit. Here we have to take, the first is material cost. Material cost we have been taking as 20,000. We are continuing with the same example, right, that we have been using from the last two lectures. We are continuing with the same example. Material cost 20,000. Now, read the question carefully. The question says scrap realizes ₹1 per unit. Now in this question, if you have noticed, there are two kinds of scrap. One is normal scrap and another one is abnormal loss. Now the question is talking about which scrap? We have already discussed this topic of scrap when we were discussing about the preparation of process accounts. There also I have discussed this point. Sir, the point here is, if the question says only the scrap realizes ₹1, that means this scrap includes the normal loss scrap also and the abnormal loss scrap, right? If the question specifically says that this scrap is related to the normal loss, then you have to treat it accordingly. And if the question specifically says that this scrap is related to abnormal loss only, then you have to treat it accordingly. But here in this question, what I have written is, I have written only that scrap realizes ₹1 per unit. Scrap realizes ₹1 per unit. That means this scrap is both for normal loss and abnormal loss, right? So be careful. Read the question carefully whether the only word scrap has been used, or the question says normal scrap realizes ₹1, or the question says abnormal scrap realizes ₹1. So you have to be very much clear with this thing and very much conscious while doing the question, right? So that means here 1000 units of normal loss and 1000 units of abnormal loss, total 2000 units at the rate of ₹1. That means ₹2000 is the scrap that I have realized. Now if this scrap, on the scrap realization, what will happen, sir? My material cost will come down minus scrap 2000, So my total cost will be 18,000, my equivalent units are 9,000, my cost per equivalent unit will be 2 rupees. Sir, what about labor and overheads? Sir, labor cost is 9,000 and units are 8,500, so it will be 1.06. What about the overhead? Same, 9,000, 8,500 units, 1.06. So the total, right sir? So the total of this will be 2 plus 1.06 plus 1.06. This will be 4.12. Any doubts in this point? So this scrap point is very, very important. Just if you want to note it down in your language in the book, in your notebooks, you can do it, right? Now let's read it from the handbooks. Open page 12.5. Treatment of units of abnormal loss in statement of equivalent production. He says add the units of abnormal loss to equivalent production units. That is what we have done. That is output. And also show it in the output column unless otherwise stated. We have to show it in the output column, right? If we are taking it in the equivalent production unit, we have to show it in the output column. Here we have to show it, sir. This is where we have to show it, right? After that, he says it will always be assumed that the degree of completion of abnormal loss units is always 100%. Right? If the question is silent, we have to always assume that the degree of completion is 100%. I am reading from page 12.5 of your handbooks, right? The KSJ handbooks. That is why I told you these handbooks are really important for you people to have for all these lectures. You can get it from our website, that is www.ksjteaching.org. Now, read it again. Further, he says, if, however, the degree of completion of the unit scrapped is given in the problem, assume the degree of completion of abnormal loss to be the degree of completion given in the problem, right? If it is given, then you have to assume it that ways, right? If it is not given, then take it either as 100% and add it here only in your books, that take it as 100% or take it equivalent to closing WIP. This is what the institute has been following, right? So I have already told you, I made the flowchart form. Now the statement of cost per equivalent unit is done. Valuation of FG, sir, you can do it now. Valuation of FG. FG is how many units? 7,000 units, right? Multiplied by 4.12. So what is the total cost? 7,000 multiplied by 4.12. This comes to 28,840. Right? What about valuation of closing WIP? Valuation of closing WIP. Material cost has been incurred on 1,000 units multiplied by 2, right? That is 2,000. Labor cost has been incurred on 500 units multiplied by 1.06. 500 multiplied by 1.06, that is 530. Right? Similarly, for overheads, 500 units multiplied by 1.06 per unit, again 530. So the total here is 2,000. It is 3,060. Right? Now, here the third element will also be there, that is valuation of abnormal loss. Valuation of abnormal loss. Sir, what is that valuation going to be? Sir, we have assumed it to be 100%, right? If it is 100%, if you are assuming to be 100%, then you can treat it like the FG, right? Abnormal loss is equal to 1,000 units multiplied by 4.12, right? So 1,000 units multiplied by 4.12, that is 4,120. So you can assume it to be equal as we have been doing in FG. But if this degree of completion is different, if it is not 100% for material labor overheads, then you have to show it separately like we show it in the closing WIP, right? So you need to be very careful what it is given in the question. Okay? Clear, sir, about abnormal loss? Right, so I have given you the various scenarios and rest of the things we'll practice when we'll do the questions, right? I've explained you that how the treatment is to be done for the normal loss, right? And the rest of the things obviously we'll keep on doing when we will be practicing the practical questions. We'll get more clarity from there, right? This is statement of equivalent production. Statement of equivalent production. Okay, any doubts up till this point? I hope everything is clear. Right, sir? Now, this is about the abnormal loss. Sir, there can be a scenario of abnormal gain also. There can be a scenario of abnormal gain also. Sir, what can be that scenario? Let's see. Let's mold this example only. We'll write it again. Let's mold this example. I say the input is of 10,000 units. Input 10,000 units. Right? My finished goods is 9,000 units. Clear? My closing WIP. My closing WIP is 1,000 units. And then my normal loss is 1,000 units, right? I'm not giving the scrap realize. The scrap doesn't realize anything out of it here, right? I say the scrap doesn't realize, and very importantly, sir, if it is an abnormal gain, in case of gain, there will be no scrap. We can't say the scrap realizes, although there is, I think, in the SM 1 or 2 questions where they have taken the scrap on abnormal gain also. So that is a different scenario. Okay, so this is the question what we have to do. Simple, right? And material labor overhead cost is going to remain the same, 29.9. Okay, now let's see, we'll be doing this question now. Let's see, sir. Statement of equivalent production. Statement of equivalent production, right? Let's see. So what is your input here? Input is again 10,000 units. He says your FG is 9,000 units. Agreed, right? Your normal loss is 1,000 units and your closing WIP is again 1,000 units. Now this is your 10,000 and here you are having 11,000. How is it possible, sir? Right? Sir, what about the extra 1,000 that we have gained in the output? We have input 10,000 units. Our output should be 10,000, but we are saying the output is 11,000. What about that extra 1,000? That extra 1,000 is again a hidden information. See, the information is not directly given in the question. The information is not directly given in the question about abnormal gain, right? So this extra 1,000 is nothing but your abnormal gain. So how to write it? If you have to take the abnormal gain, that is 1,000 units. You will subtract it, right? If you will subtract it, sir, only then the input will be equal to your output, that is 10,000. Any doubts? Clear? Now, on the finished goods, 100% of the material, 9,000, labor, 100%, 9,000. On overheads, again 100%, 9,000, right? Normal loss, nothing to be taken here. Closing WIP, 100%, 1,000, 50%, 500 and 50%, 500. Now what about this abnormal gain, sir? What about the degree of completion of abnormal gain? Read it from the books, page 12.5, last line. Treatment of units of abnormal gain in the statement of equivalent production. The units of abnormal gain should be reduced from the output column. That is what we have done. We have reduced 1,000 units from the output column so that my input is equal to output, right? Further he says, and the equivalent units column will write it. Always remember that the degree of completion of abnormal gain is 100%. Why it is 100%, sir? Question, why it is 100%, sir? Sir, when you will get to know that there is a gain, abnormal gain to you, when there will be the finished goods in hand? When will you get to know that there is an abnormal gain? when we got to know that there is a finished good production which was more than the expected, that means if it is a finished goods production, it means 100% of the cost has been incurred, right? So in case of gain, what you will have to take is that it is on 100% of the equivalent units, right? So from here you will calculate the equivalent units, that is 9 plus 1 minus 1, that comes to 9,000 units only, right? 9 minus 1, 8,500 units, and again 8,500 units. So this is how you will be treating the abnormal gain. Further question will remain the same. Cost per equivalent unit, you will calculate it in the same way. See, the main game here is around the statement of equivalent production, right? After that, in the statement of cost, the only thing that you remember is to take the scrap value, right? And in the scrap value also, you need to be very much careful about that whether the scrap value is for both normal and abnormal loss, or it is only for normal loss, or it is only for abnormal loss. So for that, the only key is read the question carefully. That is the only and only key point, right? So this is the treatment of abnormal gain. This is how you will be treating the abnormal gain. I have given all the notes in the book. Page 12.5 is all about this, right? Revise it carefully. On the page 12.6, look at page 12.6. I have given the statement of equivalent units and the statement of cost per equivalent unit, right? Now, from the next lecture, I'm going to end this lecture here only, not giving you any homework or anything. From the next lecture, you need to be very attentive. You need to be very, very, very attentive, sir, because we are going to start with the two most important valuation methods of WIP, that is FIFO method and the weighted average method. And in the exam, if you are going to get a question on statement of equivalent production, you will get a question following the FIFO method or the weighted average method. You will get a question on either of this, right? Whatever we have been doing right till now on WIP, I think I've spent 3 lectures, right? 3 or 4 lectures, 4 lectures basically, right? This was all the base. This was all the base on which the next 2 to 3 lectures are going to be really crucial about the FIFO method and the weighted average method. So these last 4 lectures, including this lecture, needs to be done very thoroughly, very carefully, right? The homework should be done, which was given in the last lecture, and you should read the notes from page 12.4, from where the WIP starts, till page 12.6, till the statements. Before FIFO method, you should revise it thoroughly. This should be set in your mind, totally set in your mind. Only then you will be able to understand the FIFO and weighted average method, right? I'm going to go quite slow on the FIFO and weighted average method. I'll spend as much time as possible. I'll be doing the practical sums, everything. But I want to make that things clear for you, because that is the most important thing from examination point of view, right? So I'll be taking up in the next lecture the FIFO method, that is. So in the next lecture, what we are going to talk about is methods of valuation of WIP. Methods of valuation of WIP. So in this, we are going to talk about the FIFO method and the weighted average method. Weighted average method. Now, how to solve the sums in these two methods, I am going to discuss in the next lectures now, right? So be very attentive, and most importantly, revise from page 12.4 to 12.6 of the handbooks. Do the thorough revision, right? And the homework that I have already given you, the things should be absolutely set in your mind. The last 4 lectures, whatever we have discussed, right? The things should be, each and everything should be crystal clear and fit in your mind. Only then move ahead to the next lecture, right? So see you guys in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, keep sharing, keep studying. Thank you so much.